Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to complete a general ledger account from using an accounting equation table. In the previous two videos, we completed a table like this. We took a number of transactions and we recorded the information where we looked at which account was debited and which account was credited. So this is a continuation of the previous two videos I've made for RFC. We're going to complete a general ledger account using this information that you've just recorded. And in this example, the general ledger account is the bank account. So you're going to be required to complete the business bank account in the general ledger using the transactions that we recorded in this table. Something you always need to look out for when you do general ledger accounts are opening balances. Now what I have in front of me is an extract or a part of a trial balance. The trial balance gives you the balances of all the general ledger accounts on the 31st of January 2024. We are going to look at the transactions that we recorded for February. We're going to take those transactions from the table and we're going to put that information into the bank account. So when we start February, the 1st of February, the balance brought down is going to be 50,000. I'll say that again. When you do general ledger accounts, the first thing you look for is an opening balance. The opening balance can be given to you in a question paper as an extract of the trial balance, what you have in front of you, or they can just mention in the information the opening balance is the following. But look for the opening balance when you do a general ledger account. So here we have the opening balance of bank. It's 50,000. We're doing the transactions for February. So what we do is we enter the opening balance. Now bank was a positive bank balance. It has a debit balance. This here is the general ledger of Calibu Education. Just some revision. On the left hand side we have the debit side and on the right hand side we have the credit side. On the debit side there's a column for date, details, folio, amount. On the right hand side, the credit side, columns, the same columns, date, details, folio, amount. The opening balance when we start this month is 2024 February the 1st. The balance brought down, we write B/D on the 1st of the month, brought down, and the amount is 50,000. Where did we get that information? From, in this example, the trial balance on the previous page. So you're going to now complete this bank account looking at the transactions that you recorded in the accounting equation table that we did in the previous two videos. Now we're doing the bank account. Any transaction that gets recorded in the cash receipts journal has a positive effect on our bank balance. So all these transactions here that were recorded in the cash receipts journal need to be recorded in the general ledger bank account. Now this question requires you to enter all the transactions in the bank account, all those transactions that affect the bank account. So there will be cash receipts and cash payments. What can happen if you were given the journals you could have only two amounts in the bank account: total receipts and total payments. But this question asks you to record all the transactions that affect the bank account in the general ledger account. So these 4 transactions where we received money need to go into the general ledger bank account. These 4 transactions here will result in the bank balance increasing. And when the bank balance increases, it's an increase in assets. These transactions from the cash receipts journal will go on the debit side of the general ledger bank account. The first transaction was services rendered. On the first, services were rendered and you recorded this transaction. The services rendered were for cash. There's the transaction at the top. Account debit is bank. I'm not going to go through these details, but that's an increase in assets. The account credit is services rendered. Now you're only required to do the bank account. So bank was debited with 1,000 Rand. Where was the transaction recorded? In the cash receipts journal. What is the name of the other account affected by the transaction? Services rendered. Under details will be the contra account to bank. We are doing the bank account, but under details you must put the contra account. Now what that means, if you've forgotten, we weren't required to do the services rendered account, but bank was debited and services rendered would have been credited. But you required only to do the bank account, but under details you need to put the name of the other account, which is services rendered. So we've taken this transaction from the table and we've put it into the bank account. Let's do the next one. Now we got the opening balance, we got that previous transaction, services rendered. Then on the 12th, there were sales, cash sales. It was recorded in the cash receipts journal. Bank was debited and sales was credited, but we're doing the bank account. The amount of the sale was 7,500. There's the 7,500. Where did we get the information from? Under the folio column we put in the cash receipts journal. What is the contra account to bank? It is sales. So sales goes under details and the date was the 12th. So you see what we're doing? We're taking all the transactions that relate to bank and we're putting them into the general ledger account. Next one. Now remember, the school was a debtor and the school on the 14th is going to pay us. The school paid and settled its account with us. Issued receipt 003. This transaction was recorded in the table. Bank, because we're receiving money, increase in assets, was debited. The account that was credited was accounts receivable. This is revision. You should know how to do this. We've done quite a few exercises and 2 tests on that. So bank gets debited. I'll show you how the amount was calculated in a moment. It was 6,400. Where was the information recorded? In the cash receipts journal. What is the name of the other account? The contra account is accounts receivable. Goes under details. Reminder, which account are we doing? Bank. I'll just show you for this transaction. Accounts receivable is credited. I'll show you how this amount is calculated with 6,400. So accounts receivable, which is the contra account, needs to be recorded under details. So under details, you record the name of the other account that was affected by the transaction. It is called the contra account. So the contra account in this transaction to bank is accounts receivable. So there we go. In the bank account we got 4 entries already. Now how did we calculate the 6,400? Now remember, you need to take all the transactions that relate to the school before and on the 14th of February. The first thing that you look for when you need to calculate amounts received from a debtor is an opening balance. We have discussed this, so it is a revision. Look for the opening balance, which is 1,200. On the 9th, there was a credit sale. On the 10th, the school returned goods to us. On the 13th, there was another sale. And if you do the maths here, the amount that we received from the school, because they settled what was owing, is 6,400. You are going to have to calculate how much money we receive from a debtor. And you need to take all the transactions that relate to that debtor, including the opening balance, in order to calculate the amount of money that we received. So there's the 6,400. All these transactions here on the debit side are transactions that result in an increase in the balance of the bank account. The opening balance we got from the trial balance or additional information that is given to us in a test. When you do a general ledger account, look for the opening balance. Right, then on the 28th, we received a bank statement, and we see we've earned interest on the current account on our positive bank balance. Where's this information recorded? In the cash receipts journal. So bank is debited with the interest amount 150. The name of the other account is interest on current account, and it's recorded under details. Those are all the cash receipts for the month of February. Now there were payments, and we take all the transactions that get recorded in the cash payments journal, and we take that information from the accounting table that you've just completed, and you put that information into the bank account. That's what we're going to do. So now wages were paid on the 6th. You know the details. Count that was debited was wages. Bank is credited, decrease in assets, the amount is 7,500. So on the 6th, under details, the name of the contra account to bank is wages. Where was the information recorded? Now we're making payments. Cash payments journal. And what was the amount? 7,500. Receipts, payments. All the information needs to go into the bank account. Next one, we bought trading inventory. Where was it recorded? Cash payments journal. It was for cash. Bank gets credited by 10,000 because our bank balance decreased when we bought the stock. Which journal is this information recorded in? The cash payments journal. What is the name of the other or contra account of bank? It is trading inventory. Which account are we doing? The bank account. Refresher. So under details, you always have the name of the other account affected by the transaction, the contra account. Next one, Now we are going to pay a supplier, and they say settled our debt with a computer store, paid by EFT. Our bank balance is going to go down. Cash payments journal. Subsidiary journal, there it is. Cash payments journal. The account that is debited is accounts payable. Bank is credited. So on the 28th, under details, the contra account to bank is accounts payable. It goes under details. Which journal was this recorded in? The cash payments journal. Now, similar to when a debtor pays us, when we pay a supplier, we need to take all the transactions that relate to that supplier up until the 28th when we're paying the supplier, including the opening balance. So look for the opening balance of the supplier. And we've done this calculation in a previous video. The main thing for this video is taking this information from the table and putting it into a ledger account. So we had an opening balance, 2,400. We bought more items on credit. We returned some items, we bought more. And what did we settle? The balance, which is 7,200. Now what we need to do is we've recorded all this information, all the receipts and all the payments from the table that we just completed. You need to balance this account. Step 1 for balancing is record the opening balance. Now fortunately we have already done that. The opening balance for this account was 50,000. So we've done step 1 and we've recorded the opening balance. Step 2, after all the transactions have been entered, check which side is bigger, the debit or credit. So all the transactions, payments and receipts, they have been entered. Which side is bigger? If I add up all these highlighted numbers, I can see that the debit side is greater than 7,500 plus 10,000 plus 7,200. So the debit side is bigger. So step 2 we've completed. Check which side is bigger and by how much. Step 3. On the last day of the month, add to the smaller side. We established that the credit side was smaller. Add to the smaller side the difference between the debit and the credit side. So you add that up and you add that up. You say the debit side total minus the credit side total. And that gives you 40,350. On the last day of February this year, 2024 is a leap year, 29, you get the balance carried down. So you find the difference between the two sides. You add to the smaller side the difference between the two sides, which is 40,350. And on the last day of the month, for some other reason, it's called carried down. On the first day of a month in a general ledger, it's called brought down. So step 3, we've done that. On the last day of the month, add to the smaller side the difference between the two sides, known as the balance carried down. Step 4, total both sides, the debit and the credit. So if you add these up, on the debit side it comes to 65,050. Once you've put the balance carried down in, if you add this credit side up, it is balanced because you put in a balance carried down. The two sides are equal. But there's one more step, step 5. we need to, on the opposite side of the carry down, we need to write down the balance brought down on the first day of the next month. So March the 1st, the balance brought down is 40,350. And what that means is, according to our books, there should be 40,350 Rand in our bank account after the month of February, after all the receipts in February and all the payments in February. We now have a bank balance in our books of 40,350. Now the sales journal and the debtors journal, I'm just going to show you quickly. Here's a credit sale, and if we were asked to do the accounts receivable account, there's also sales returns. So we have credit sales and returns of credit sales. This information will be taken to an accounts receivable account, but in this exercise we were doing the bank account, but I'm just showing you this briefly. The same process applies to other general ledger accounts like accounts receivable. And then the purchasers creditors journal for items we've bought on credit, and then returns if we return goods on credit. The information we recorded first of all in a table, and we took that information to the general ledger account, accounts payable. The main purpose of this exercise though was to do the bank account, and we completed the bank account. If you want to go back in the video, it's very easy, but the important general ledger account for this video was the bank account. And just to summarize, we took the information, we took the transactions, and in the last video we recorded the transactions in a table. Then we took from the table the information and we recorded that information in the bank account. All the transactions for the month were recorded in the bank account. Very often an examiner will record or test the bank account. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, you can go back and have a look at what that bank account looks like. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.